everyone, and welcome back to my channel for another week of What's for Dinners. Every Monday I do try to bring you guys one of these videos just to kind of share some meals that I made over the past week, share some recipes with you guys, things that we loved, and in tonight's case, things that we did not love, and just kind of inspire you guys to make some different meals at home. If you're into this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can keep up with all of my videos. Anyway, thank you for being here for my returning viewers. And if you are new here, my name is Courtney and I am glad you are here. So let's jump right in and talk about dinner. So this week is going to be a little bit different. We were eating on those Thanksgiving leftovers for what might have been forever. I'm not sure. It felt like a long time. By the time we were done, I was over it. But anyway, we didn't want to waste anything, so we ate on them for quite a long time. So I only had 2 real dinners to share with you guys, but I did have a couple of other things that I cooked throughout the week. One was a breakfast, and one of them was a lunch. So I decided to go ahead and toss them in here because I did want to share my recipes with you. So to kick this week off, we are going to be making $1 million spaghetti. I have seen this recipe all over social media. I mean, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, other YouTubers have made it. They rave about it. They love it. I've never made it before, so I decided tonight was the night we were going to have $1 million spaghetti. Now, here's the thing of it. My oldest loves spaghetti. Oh, it's his favorite thing. Cannot stand cheese, which is why I've never made this before. So he is having plain spaghetti with red sauce. My husband and I will be having $1 million spaghetti, and my kids hate tomatoes, so they will be having butter noodles. And speaking of kids, there's Camden. He wanted to share. He had been crafting, and he's totally into Pokemon, so he made that little Pikachu there, and he just wanted to share it with everybody. So I let him pop in and say hi for a second. Anyway, I'm making a small thing of $1 million spaghetti, so I thought we would eat this for like 2 nights or so, maybe some lunches out of it. I wasn't sure. But I started off by browning a little bit over a pound of ground beef, and then there wasn't a lot of grease, so I just used the paper towel trick to go ahead and drain all that fat out of there because I didn't feel like having to pour it out anywhere. But once that was done, I went ahead and added in 2 cans of Hunt's pasta sauce. I didn't go fancy with this, and the spaghetti sauce with the meat in it tasted fine. It was great. It was a really nice flavor. I let it simmer on the stove for probably about 20 minutes while I was doing other things. As you can see, I did have a pot in the background that was starting to boil. It was for my spaghetti. Now, here's where things went wrong. The recipe called for 8 ounces of cream cheese, which in my head I knew was going to be way too much because we don't love that overpowering flavor of cream cheese. So I cut it down to about 2 ounces, and then I also included the full 8 ounces of ricotta cheese that the recipe called for. The problem was all we could taste was cream cheese. Once I served this, that's all. Every bite, just cream cheese. It was so overpowering. So if I ever decide to make this again, I will completely leave the cream cheese out, and I will only use ricotta. If you love the taste of cream cheese, this is totally for you. You will love this recipe. It's going to be on repeat in your house every week. We don't. It was just so strong. Anyway, what I did was to go ahead and follow the rest of the recipe. I added in some red pepper flakes, some garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper, and then it called for oregano, which I did not have, but I did have Italian seasoning, so I put that in its place, and then I mixed everything together super well to make sure it was all, evenly incorporated throughout. And then I got a really small casserole dish. This is like a 5x5, I think. And I went ahead and greased it. I was afraid that my noodles would stick to the side. And then I put a very generous helping of sauce in the bottom of the dish. Now, to me, I feel like this was crucial, and I feel like the directions did not say to put this much in there. But I was afraid my noodles would dry out in the oven, which I think they might have if I didn't put as much because they soaked up every bit of sauce. So anyway, I put a very generous helping of sauce on the bottom, and then I put a layer of noodles, which you can see I had tossed these noodles in some sauce already. But I put a very generous helping of noodles there, and then I topped that with the cheese mixture. And this, it melts down into the spaghetti and everything, and it kind of holds everything together. So you can't get away from it. It's not something we could scrape out of the middle of the casserole when we discovered we didn't like that flavor. It had really melted into everything. And that was a little bit of the problem. But like I said, if you guys like that flavor, you're going to love this casserole. Anyway, on top of the cheese, I did put a nice little layer of red sauce. Then I added some more pasta. And I topped that with more red sauce and then a really nice helping of cheese. I only used mozzarella, and guys, I meant to use provolone. If you want an epic cheese pull, provolone is the way to go. I was going to do a little mix of both, really, mostly provolone, but a little bit of mozzarella on top, and I forgot. So if you've got provolone, I highly recommend it. Like if you're making pizza or something, man, it will make an epic cheese pull. Anyway, back to dinner. I did not put any provolone on there, and that's okay because, like I said, we didn't end up liking it anyway. But I did put a nice generous layer of mozzarella, and then I put this in a 375-degree oven, and I baked it for 20 minutes. Now the recipe says 10 minutes. For me, that was not long enough. It was not even bubbling on the sides or anything, and my cheese was not fully melted. So I put it in for a total of 20 minutes, and it came out beautifully melted and ready to go. And then I just served it with garlic knots. And it's really, it's a pretty casserole. It looks nice. It held together so well. I wish we had liked the flavor better. Maybe I'll try it without the cream cheese. I don't know. Anyway, on to the next night. I made Mexican Fiesta. So I went to drop my kids off with my mom a couple of weeks ago, and she had made lunch for us. And this is what she made. When I was a kid growing up, she used to make this pretty often, and somehow I had completely forgotten about it. I don't know how, because I used to really like it. And I still do. I had never made this for my family before, so I was like, oh man, they would love this. So of course I came home and I made it for them. I am starting off by cooking up 2.5 pounds of ground beef. We don't actually need all of that for this meal, but I had a big pack of it, and I'm like, oh, I could cook it all now and have some extra taco meat in the freezer. And that is exactly what I did. Now, unlike the previous meal, this meat was super, super greasy. The paper towel trick would not have been enough, so I totally had to drain the grease out of this meat, but you can't win them all, right? Anyway, what we need is taco meat. So if you like the packaged taco seasoning, go for it, put that in, follow the directions, do your thing. I personally don't really care for it. I find it to be really, really strong, so I like to make my own. So I am basically putting in the same things that you would get in a packet, but less of them. So I used salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, and cumin, and especially I go lighter on the chili powder. That's where I feel like the packages get way, way too strong for me. They put a lot of chili powder in there, but I just put all of my stuff in there, and then I put half a cup of water in there, and I mixed it all together, and then realized with this much meat, half a cup of water is not enough. So I added another half cup for a total of 1 cup of water. And then I'm just gonna let this simmer on my stovetop for, well, until the water's gone, but I think it took like 20 minutes in total, not bad. And as you can see, I have another pot off to the side over there, and I'm just simply cooking some plain white rice in there. That is 1 cup of rinsed white rice, 1.5 cups of water, and 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar. I put it in there and I let it cook until all the water's gone. And then I turn the burner off, fluff it with a fork, put a lid back on, and let it sit for about 20 minutes, and it is beautiful every single time. So while all of that is going on, I'm gonna get my toppings together. Now, this is one of those things where you can put whatever toppings you want on there. It really is up to you. This is just what I had on hand and what I chose to make. So I am gonna do 2 cans of ranch style beans. If you don't like those, then go for like black beans or something like that. I like the flavor of ranch style beans, and I feel like they bring something extra to this dish. So that's what I really recommend. But if you don't want that flavor, I would really say go for like black beans. Anyway, I'm also gonna shred some lettuce, chop some tomatoes, dice an onion, slice some olives, and even make a little bit of quick guacamole. And then I will show you guys how to put this dinner together.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. It's just what I do when I'm out. So try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Stars, I wanna drive a faster car. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me.
All right, now all those vegetables are sliced, diced, chopped, and ready to go, and I'm gonna make some quick guacamole. I have made guacamole a couple of different ways on my channel before, and I am not making anything fancy for this particular meal, just because I have a lot of flavors going on, and I didn't feel like I needed anything, too fancy with the guacamole. I really just wanted the avocado taste and the creaminess. But I will link my video down below that shares my recipe for my favorite guacamole and my restaurant style salsa. That's really, my favorite way to make guacamole if I'm going to have like chips and dip. But for something like this, I didn't feel like I needed anything that fancy, so I'm going really simple. I just went ahead and had a couple of avocados and I put those in a bowl. I know you can scoop them out. I just don't. I always just kind of squeeze them out and it works great for me. And then I'm going to mash these guys super, super well. I mean, I want this really, really mashed up, nice and creamy. It's just the texture that I'm looking for to kind of make this dish. It kind of holds everything together. Basically what we're making is kind of like a taco salad, and there's I only put a tiny bit of dressing on there, so this, I really depend on this guacamole to kind of help hold all the filling together, But anyway, I mashed and mashed and mashed until it was super creamy, and there were almost no chunks left in it. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of salt, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of garlic powder, just because I really feel like avocado always needs a little bit of garlic powder, and then some lime, just because that kind of brings something out, the flavor, and also it kind of helps keep it from turning as quickly, because avocados will turn brown in a heartbeat. I also like to keep plastic wrap mushed down on top. But anyway, here's the finished product. I have got some tortilla chips, guacamole, olives, some salsa, some homemade salsa right there, some onion, ranch style beans, lettuce, tomato, shredded cheddar cheese, plain white rice, ground beef, and then that bottle of dressing is Catalina. Sounds weird, but go with me on this one because it makes the dish. I promise you, it is the best part of this entire meal. So I started off with a little bit of white rice on the bottom of the bowl, and then I added in a little bit of those ranch style beans, then a small scoop of the taco meat. And you guys can make this however you want. This is just how I made this bowl to show you, and I put a little bit of everything on there because that's just how I am. So we've got some diced tomatoes on there, and I'm going to add some onion because, it's always nice to have a little bite of onion in there. Some of those black olives. You could also do green olives or just leave the olives out if you don't like them. You could add cilantro if you had it. I don't have any, so I didn't put any on there. I did put a bunch of freshly shredded lettuce on there because I love that crunch. I just use iceberg because, again, crunch. I really like it. I'm going to add a little bit of shredded cheese, and then I'm going to put a dollop of guacamole in the center. I did leave the salsa out just because I had put tomatoes on mine. I didn't feel like I really wanted the salsa on mine. You could always add it if you want to. That's up to you. And then I'm going to drizzle some of this Catalina on top. I didn't even use chips with my dish. You can kind of scoop it up with chips if you want, like a taco salad. But I just served it like this and ate it like this. And it was so, so good. You guys have to try this one. This one is definitely a winner. My entire family adored it. We will be having it again. All right, so those were the only dinners I made. So let me share a quick breakfast with you guys. Now, this is not a healthy breakfast by any means, but it is delicious. So it started off with a tube of those Pillsbury cinnamon rolls. I got these at Sam's Club, so I had like 4 or 5 cans of them. But I'm going to go ahead and take them out. I'm going to set the icing off to the side because we are going to use that as a drizzle over the top when we're done. So make sure you keep that. But basically, we're just going to take these cinnamon rolls, and I like to slice each one up into 6 little pieces like that. I cut it in half, then I cut those into thirds, and then I'm tossing them into a bowl, and we're going to use these to make basically like a breakfast casserole. This is so easy and so simple. My entire family loved this one. It was so, so good. I saw this, oh man, I can't even remember whose channel I was watching. Somebody on YouTube made it, and it looked so amazing. So I immediately just tossed stuff in my grocery cart because I'm like, that is going on my next grocery order. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and chop those up. And then to it, I'm going to add a can of apple pie filling. So you can use whatever pie filling. I think this would probably be really great with a peach pie filling and maybe even cherries. I don't know. But I went with apple. That's what I saw. And oh my gosh, it was so good. Of course, it's fall. So this is like just the perfect thing for this time of year. But I dumped the whole can in there, and then I'm going to mix really, really, really well because, the cinnamon rolls kind of stick together in a clump. So you want the pie filling to get in between all those little bites and get some of that, saucy, cinnamony goodness in there. It's so good. But anyway, I'm going to mix this super, super well, get it incorporated, and then put it in a greased casserole dish. That is my same little 5x5 you saw on the other one. So this does not make a huge amount of this. And then I'm going to make sure my apples are evenly dispersed. See, there's like a little corner right there that didn't have any apples. How sad. I had to fix that. But anyway, once this is all in the pan and I feel like it's layered nicely, looks like that, we're going to pop it in an oven following the directions for the cinnamon rolls. And then when it was done, I pulled it out and I just heated that icing up in the microwave for like 15 seconds. And then I just drizzled it all over the top. And then I let this sit for about 10 or 15 minutes. And that icing got in all the nooks and crannies. And oh my gosh, this was so, so good. I know it's not healthy. There's probably like 1 billion calories in every bite, but it was so delicious. I love this. This might be our Christmas morning breakfast. I don't know. My whole family enjoyed it. Like I said, it was a winner. I don't have a picture of it on a plate because I was doing a whole bunch of things at once, but it was so good, y'all. Okay, so on to the last meal. I was making my husband's lunch for the week, so I always meal prep for him. And on this particular week, I was making him my chicken salad. I think I've called it harvest chicken salad in the past. I don't really know what it's called. It's just, I ate it at a restaurant once and I was like, oh, I could make that. So I came home and made it, and now I make it all the time. Anyway, I started off this time with the rotisserie chicken. Of course, you could always just like cook up your own chicken breast if you wanted, or chicken thighs, or if you're into it, go ahead and use the canned chicken. I've never used it before, but I see a bunch of people do that. So whatever works for you is fine. I just happened to pick this rotisserie chicken up on clearance at Walmart, and I popped it in my freezer a couple of weeks ago so I could make chicken salad. Whenever I see them like that, I always just grab them and put them in my deep freeze so that I have them waiting for me. So I went ahead and just pulled it out, and it wasn't quite thawed. It was still a little bit frozen. I had to nuke it in the microwave, and the inside of the breast was still frozen, so I was working with slightly frozen chicken, but that's okay. I just went ahead and pulled it all off and deboned it and shared a little bit of it with my dog, who you can't see, but he was off camera. Then my camera batteries died, and I didn't know it. So anyway, while you guys weren't here, I chopped up some celery. You can really put whatever you want in here. I like the crunch factor of celery. I did like 3 ribs and tossed it in there. And then I pulled out some dill pickles, and that is what I'm chopping now. They're actually like Polish dill pickles, I think, because that's what I had in my fridge that I have been desperately trying to get rid of for a while now because Walmart subbed them for something, and I don't love them, but I don't hate them, so I'm just using them like where I can. And chicken salad seemed like a good place for that. So I went ahead and chopped those. You can do this as big or as fine as you like. I like mine, I guess, kind of medium sized because I like a nice hearty bite of chicken salad. Because, we put this on a sandwich. You could always do it in lettuce wraps or just eat it in a bowl or with crackers or whatever. But I just like hearty bites of all my stuff. I'm also going to slice and dice up some sweet pickles. And I'm doing this differently than I normally do. So normally when I make this salad, I would do dill pickle, sweet pickle, celery, apple, grapes, and walnuts. And this time I decided to make it a little more Thanksgiving themed, I guess. So instead of the grapes or apples, I'm going to use craisins. My husband loves craisins. So I went ahead and tossed those in instead of the other stuff, but you can really put whatever you want in there. I do recommend some fruit for that sweet factor. And I really, really like apples for the crunch, but I just didn't put any in today. Anyway, all my pickles are nicely chopped and diced. So I'm going to add in some mayonnaise. I did about half a cup. I don't like it to be too heavy on the mayonnaise. I just want it in there as a binder. So it's going to hold all the stuff together so we can make sandwiches and it's not just falling out all over the place. But I don't want I don't want too much mayonnaise in there. It doesn't need to be super saucy. But I like to go ahead and mix the mayonnaise in now before I add the other stuff in. Just so I kind of know where I am with this, what my ratios are looking like, to make sure I've got a good amount of everything in there. Of course, the chicken's the star of the show, but I wanted to make sure that I had gotten a good amount of pickle in there and a good amount of celery for the amount of chicken that I had in the bowl. So I put the mayonnaise away and it's on to the craisins. I've never put, well, actually, I think I put them in one other time. I know I put raisins in once and they were really, really good. I really want to say I might have done this before, but anyway, I put in probably about half a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup of craisins and mixed those in just an amount that looked like it was a good ratio, you know. And then I'm going to add in some walnuts. I get the ones that are already kind of chopped up just because I don't want to have to do anything. If I'm going to do this, let's make it as easy as we can, right? So I went ahead and put in probably about half a cup of those. And I will mix this all really well, get everything incorporated. And then I like to put in salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And sometimes instead of garlic powder, I'll put in onion powder, but I really prefer the flavor of garlic powder in this. You can omit that if it just doesn't sound like something you want, and that's fine. But I do recommend the salt and pepper. I really, really do. I wouldn't leave that out. But anyway, that's all there is to it. And that's how you make chicken salad in my house. This is what we like, and I hope you guys like it too. So that pretty much does it for this week's What's for Dinners. I hope that you guys really, really enjoyed this video. Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you've tried these recipes before or any suggestions you might have for me. I am always open to new recipe ideas, guys. Anyway, that will do it for this week. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Thank you to all my new subscribers. You guys are awesome. I am glad you were here. And I will see you guys really soon with another video. Bye.